Millennial with the mic.
Grace Curley.
Grace Curley.
Grace Curley.
Grace Curley.
Grace Curley, host of the Grace Curley Show.
Grace Curley.
Grace!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Grace Curley Show. We have Mike Crawford from the Young Jurks joining us now, and we have a lot to go over here. First up, Mike, before we get into the Boston Police Chief's recent statement about Kelly Dever and the Karen Reed trial, and we're going to play a lot of that sound for the listeners who may have not caught it yet. I first would love to get your reaction to Sergeant Yuri Buchanan being removed from the DA's office and placed on desk duty, and also Shannon Burgess's profile on the Aperture website disappearing. I don't think there's any question this is the Karen Reed effect at play, but do we think we'll see more of this? Is this part of reform? Does this make you happy to see that something is happening as far as accountability goes, or is this all just posturing from the powers that be?
Well, I think it remains to be seen if it's posturing, but I'm happy to see it, and I think it's exciting. There's memes out now. How many folks have gone down, resigned, been rehomed? It's endless now, and I think Yuri definitely deserved it. But I want more transparency on why. We want to know why. Why did they decide to do this? Who made the decision? Was it the state police colonel who ultimately made, obviously, the decision? I'm assuming, but did DA Morrissey have anything to do with it? We'd love to know the reasons why, and to see if there's more to this, because I feel like they should be investigating a lot more into this entire situation. So yeah, I like it happened, and hoping to see more. So.
Yeah, we're getting some critical details about the Karen Reed trial and how much was spent on it. Obviously, we know this was a very expensive, I think the most expensive OUI case in the history of Massachusetts. But Christina Rex from WBZ yesterday put out that from November 1st, 2024 to June 8th, 2025, Hank Brennan, who was obviously the lead prosecutor in this case, was paid $566,000 for his prosecution in the Karen Reed retrial. What first is your opinion of that price tag, Mike? And have you heard from other people who watch your show, who follow Turtle Boy, who I know who you spoke to recently? What do people make of that price point for Hank Brennan's performance?
It's huge. Attorney Bederow just posted about it as well. 566,000 reasons why Hank wasn't independent of defending Michael Morrissey. That's what this whole prosecution was. Most expensive OUI conviction in the history. We're just talking 566 for Hank. There's also 400,000 for Aperture. Again, you talked about Shannon Burgess, who lost his job. They spent over $400,000 there. There's the police details. We're talking millions of dollars for an OUI conviction, and no transparency, no accountability on what they actually did here. So I'm glad the reporters are finally, the Boston media is finally doing their job with a lot of this. And that's what's exciting to see is now we get to see where the chip's going to fall when the Boston media, besides Howie's phenomenal. I love the column he just put out. So excited about the latest Howie Carr column. But it's nice to see the TV media start digging in on this stuff too.
Yeah, and speaking of that latest column, I did want to ask you about Aidan Kearney and what could come out now that he's involved in his own lawsuit or situation, case, I should say. And this is a problem for Michael Morrissey. This could be very embarrassing for him. And for Norfolk County, which has already dealt with a lot of embarrassing information coming out. But now we have these emails and texts that are being impounded by the judge in the Turtle Boy case. What do you expect to see here?
We're expecting to see a Bederow letter. Aidan Kearney was on my show 2 nights ago, talked about a new Bederow letter. Bederow letters have been amazing, and apparently Bederow told Aidan this one would be nuclear. This would be the biggest yet. So I'm expecting a Bederow letter, hopefully next week. Hopefully it does get released to the public, and I expect it to be about all of that, and possibly about Jean from Dorchester. She signed an affidavit, made some extraordinary claims. Howie named the woman she made claims about, Kate Peter, in the column today. So all of it, I expect this to be explosive. And I raised this question to Aidan the other night. do you think there's a chance they drop the charges against you? Like Hank Brennan, when he didn't come back and do his rebuttal in the Karen Reed trial right at the end, because it was self-preservation, they are at great danger, I believe, in being exposed. The further they push on Turtle Boy and Aiden, he's got phenomenal lawyers, Attorney Bederow and Attorney Bradel, and I'm looking forward to it. Before it would seem very tense, and now it seems more like we're getting disclosure. We're going to find out what's going on here very soon.
Yeah, and this week when Aiden was in court in Dedham, he was asking the judge in this case, Michael Doolin, to release some of these emails from impoundment. What do you think of this judge, Superior Court Judge Michael Doolin, and do you think he will release it? I know he's dragging his feet, but how important is it for Turtle Boy's defense that people are able to see these emails?
I think it's very helpful for everybody. The public should have a right to know what's really going on here. So I think that's why it's so important. And I think this judge seems very fair. He seems very smart, sharp, on the point, makes decisions quickly. He's going to give the prosecution a few more weeks, but that's it, And what I even asked Aiden this, what could the prosecution say on why they want to block this? What reason could they have not to reveal what's in those emails, especially knowing Aiden Carney knows what's in those emails. His attorneys knows what's in those emails and text messages. So, and I'm sure the judge is going to have an inkling too. So I have a feeling this is going to go in favor of Aiden Carney.
Yeah, I think you're on the right path there. I'm speaking with Mike Crawford from the Young Jurks. All right, so this is the part of the interview that's going to require a little bit of sound because I want everyone to be able to understand exactly what we're going into. So Kelly Dever, I would say, had one of the worst performances on the stand during the Karen Reed retrial. She was extremely combative with Alan Jackson. She was very, very defensive. She was actually the one who he mispronounced her name at one point, and she took that as a major blow to her ego. And one of those back and forths had to do with a conversation that she had with the Boston Police Department Commissioner, Michael Cox. I want to play a flashback here of Kelly Dever, and then we will play Michael Cox's statement on Kelly Dever's performance during this trial. But first, this is a flashback of Kelly Dever with Alan Jackson.
Did you tell the defense that when you were called up to the commissioner's office, he told you two things? Commissioner Cox told you, number one, Boston Police Department supports you, and Officer Dever, do the right thing.
So he said my name correctly. He said Dever, and
that's my mistake. Let's see. You want me to repeat the question so I get
So,
that right?
Mr. Jackson, let's go ahead and answer, please.
yes, and he said nothing with the intent of guiding me one way or the
I asked you
other.
what his intent was, madam. I asked you what he said to you. What were his words to you?
That he supports me.
And
Just wanted me to tell the truth up here.
his words were, do the right thing. Correct?
I don't recall.
Okay, so that was a really memorable moment from Kelly Dever. And the BPD commissioner, Michael Cox, was asked about this by WCVB. Let's first play cut 6.
Your name came up during the recent Karen Reed trial. You got a visit from Officer Kelly Dever. The defense implied that you influenced her testimony. Do you want to respond to that?
I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have an organization full of over 3,000 people, and we support all our folks. And the reality is that I get information passed on whether people are high or low, and I encourage everyone, right? And if you're going to work here and you belong here, then we're going to encourage you. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed.
Did you tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck, like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed case? I never have said those words together. And so the fact is, it's much to do about nothing. We have employees here that we have to develop and encourage and do things, and I do that for tons of our employees.
Do you feel that you were inappropriately drawn into this as some sort of boogeyman?
That case is over, and we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed.
Mike, I know you have. We're good here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mike, I know you have very strong feelings on this cut, and you've been posting about it. You've been looking forward to talking about it on the show. Give us your take on those comments from Michael Cox.
Man, I felt like he, it felt like Bill Clinton. Remember Bill Clinton? I didn't have relations with that lady. That's the way it felt like. And someone posted a meme about that as well. And it's just, why did he meet with her? He doesn't have much disclosure on why he met with her. And how often does he meet with first-year officers? He admitted he met with her, but he's denying he said anything to her. It's very suspicious. His demeanor, too, his smiling. And if you see the video, it's very strange. And you could tell that they wanted him not to speak on that. That was the end of the presser. That was the last question. So it's funny. So, yeah, we want more disclosure. Why was he meeting with her? How often does he meet with first-year police officers?
Yeah, I think that there's so many questions involved here, and I agree with you. You can hear his handlers at the end there trying to wrap this up, and I'm getting this sense that everyone is just hoping, which actually kind of plays into what we were just talking about with Turtle Boy's case. Everyone is just hoping that this will now go away. It's such an embarrassment for all of these different agencies, for all of these different organizations, and they're kind of like they don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, and they're really just hoping and praying that the media will let up and drop it, and so they can move on. And that might be another reason why, to your point, that Turtle Boy might actually, it bodes well for him, because this thing stinks to the high heavens, and everybody, the more they go after him, the more people are going to focus on this and ask more questions.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that they have to know, is this is not going away. This is not going away until Morrissey goes away. He's maybe running for re-election. Two of the candidates in the race have asked him to resign. And, these are attorneys. These are not unserious people running against him for re-election. So this is not going away. So they have to recognize that. And I can't believe the police commissioner kind of nonchalantly thought this was over. It's not over. There's more interest in this than ever before, actually. So they need to adjust.
Yeah, and I notice this with a lot of higher ups now, whether it's politicians or just, people who are running agencies or have these powerful positions, where they make the mistake of kind of minimizing people's interest or outrage over something. And they kind of give you the, oh, well, you're still talking about that. Who cares about that? The case is over. And that's a recipe for disaster too, Mike, because that's not how you handle it. If people feel as though they've had the wool pulled over their eyes or you're lying to them, that's a problem for you. It doesn't matter if it's a month after the verdict or 2 months after the verdict or 2 years after the verdict. That's an issue. Mike Crawford from the Young Jurks. Everybody follow him at the Young Jurks. It's Jurks. I know